I'm going to record how I drill the holes in the windshield for these vents, the aviation vents from Air Spruce online. I got it off the Ventures website. First thing I did was set it up on the bike and kind of look at it, figure out about where I wanted it. So I marked the bottom. You can't hardly see it, but there's a little grease pencil mark. And I did it kind of on both sides, but it was just kind of an eyeing it up type thing. Then I took the windshield off, and then I ran a measuring tape across it, and kind of eyed it up and decided, okay, on the edges I'll mark up about 1 3/4 or 4 centimeters, about that. And then I ran a strap across to see that I got a kind of a straight line. Now, it's not perfectly scientific, but it looked pretty good. Then I measured up to get the measurement to the middle where the drill will have to go. So then I just kind of laid it out and looked at it, but it's when I marked it on the bike, I just marked the bottom. So the middle was 1 5/8 because the hole has to be 3 1/4. So that's how I did the markings, and now I'm going to set it up to drill the holes. Okay, so I practiced using my hole saw on a couple of boards and just a couple of scrap boards. Before I did the hole, I put tape over them so I get a couple of patterns. So I'm going to go stick this on the bike, just make sure I like where the holes are. Alright, so I put it on the bike here, and I don't know, I think it looks fine. So I'm going to go with that placement. Everything I read said put some tape over the hole to protect the glass, so I've done that. Alright, so I decided to clamp my windshield down. So it's not exactly flat. It did take a little of the curve out, but I tried not to smash it flat for fear it would break. So I'm going to drill a pilot hole, and then I'm going to drill the 3 1/4 inch hole. Alright, that's the pilot hole. And now, with my Lennox 3 1/4 inch hole saw that I got at Lowe's, I'm going to make the hole. Woo. Alright, we got through the board. Alright, I added a little water, cleaned up the sawdust, and I'm going to continue drilling this hole. after, as you can see, some touch and go moments there, I have a hole. So there, I've removed everything. I'm going to clean this hole up a little bit with some wet and dry sandpaper. Alright, I'm using some 400 grit wet dry sandpaper. So I'm just going to take this sandpaper and work it around the edge here to clean it up. I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so I've been sanding. I started with the 400, but actually I had to switch to this 220 because the hole saw had left some things in here that were taking a while to get out. But you can see the finished product looks pretty good. I think it's going to work fine. So I'm going to drill the other hole. I'm going to use the same process as I did for this one, and we'll install the vents. Alright, that's the hole. That clamp, got that clamp. There you have it. Alright, and here it is, with the holes all cleaned up, and we're ready to install the vents. So here we go. So I just squeezed them together. And let's see, you want this at the top? So I'm gonna, there's that. This is the windshield trim that covers the bolts that hold the windshield. And to take it off, you probably read somewhere, but you take off the two bolts Allen bolts from inside on either end. And then you can see there are 5 tabs, something like that, that kind of go straight down into the bike. So there's no catches on them, they just slide down. This one in the middle has a little bit of a catch, but that goes in first and you can work that in, and it also comes out last, so you can just kind of work it out. So again, it's just something you have to not use a lot of force on, but just kind of work, and it'll come out pretty easily. Alright, and there's the final installed aviation vents in my 2006 Yamaha Royal Star Venture. This is the vents that I used. And I got them from some online vendor. I think if you do a search on this CC3251, you'll find a lot of them. And I think both of them, it comes a pair, and it was about $18.